Hi, I'm Joan, and today we're going to talk about how to choose an English name. But first, let's talk about should you choose an English name. Now, some people say that taking a name in the language you are studying helps you learn the language better because you can use example sentences that make you sound more local. I don't really believe in this very much. I think that you should only choose an English name if you want to have an English name. If you want to keep your own name, just do it. Just keep it. But there will be some challenges. So it could be small challenges. Like if your name is Maria, a lot of Americans are going to say Maria. And if your name is David, David. Now your friends and your coworkers can probably learn the correct pronunciation of your name, but the average American might not even understand that Maria and Maria are two different names. It could be like a medium-sized challenge. If your name is Yang, people might say Yang, or if your name is Jen, you might get Gian or Gian or Gian. It's just because a lot of Americans, almost all Americans don't know pinyin, so we have like no clue how to pronounce Chinese names before we learn some Chinese. Like my mom called the president of China President Xi. Last season of RuPaul's Drag Race, there was a drag queen who I thought her name should be Yuhua Kawasaki, but everyone was pronouncing it Yua. So there can be some challenges like that. And Yua, if you're watching, I love you! And if your name is really difficult for Americans to pronounce, you will face some big challenges. I'm going to use Chinese examples again, but if your name has Tsai in it, the C, you're going to get a lot of Sia, Kai, cow. People won't know what to do with that. And the same with X's, Xia. You might get, again, Sia, Kasia. Well, people just don't really know. Even very, very common names like Zhang, you'll still get Zhang, Zhang. So as long as you're prepared to face these challenges, you don't need an English name. Your friends and your coworkers and the people that truly care about you will learn how to pronounce your name correctly. So you just have to be patient and only choose an English name if you want to. Except at Starbucks. Always use an English name at Starbucks. I don't care how proud you are of your name in your native language. Just go ahead and be Jessica or Brittany when you go to Starbucks so that it's easy to get your coffee. So now let's talk about how to choose an English name if you do want to choose one. I have a few tips for you today. The number one most important tip is to look at the most popular baby names in the year that you were born. This is how you're going to know what names people your age actually have here in the USA. Or you could look up English names. They're going to be very similar between England and America. But this way you'll actually know if your name is popular, easy, recognizable. Not every name makes the top 100. For example, my name, Joan, is not very popular, but it is a real name. It's, let's see, it peaked in popularity in 1937. So, woo, I should be, what, like 90-something years old? But I'm named after someone famous. So I was named after Joan of Arc. And it is a real name. It's recognizable. Another thing you can do if you aren't sure if the name is in the top 100 or top 1,000 names of the year, you can Google it or Baiduisha. And just make sure that it's was popular at some time. So for example, Joan was popular in 1932. And that means that people know it They might know it as their grandmother's name, but they know it. So should you choose Joan for an English name? No. But is it an okay English name? Yes. Let's look at, okay, so just do a quick little search for top baby names, USA, in whatever year you were born. So let's say you were born in 1998. You're like 22 years old or something. If you're a girl, the top names of that year are Emily, Hannah, Samantha, Ashley, Sarah. So when you go to university in the USA or when you work in an office, you're going to meet people with these names. For boys, it's Michael, Jacob, Matthew, Joshua, Christopher. I can name 4 or 5 people that I'm friends with each of these names. I mean, my dad is Michael. I have cousins named Jacob and Matthew. I have several friends named Joshua, Josh, and Christopher, Nicholas. So common. If you want something a little bit more unique, you can scroll farther down the list. For example, the last 5 names of the list for girls are Amy, Lindsay, Alicia, Heather, Angela. I still know tons of people with these names, so they would be really common and easy for people to recognize. And you can see different trends in the names. So if you look up a name, for example, the year that I was born, 1988, you know how old I am now, the top girl's name was Jessica, and the top 5, Jessica, Ashley, Amanda, Sarah, Jennifer. So think about it. We're 30 years old now. So if someone's name is Jessica, they're pretty likely to be 30 to 35 years old. Wow. Sorry, both of the Jessicas from my high school class. Boys' names don't change as much. They don't rotate through style and fashion as much as girls' names. So the top baby name in 1988 was Michael for boys. And in 1998, if you remember, again, it was Michael still. Not sure why Michael is always so popular, but it's a good common name. My dad gets really excited when he meets another Michael, and they have something to talk about. So you would have something in common with a lot of guys. But again, you can scroll down to the bottom of the list and check out something a little bit less popular, and maybe you end up with something like Devin or Seth or what else is cool on here? Joel. That's a good name. So just look up these names, use this list to your advantage, and have this list in front of you when you take these next 2 tips into your mind. Okay, so one thing you can do is you can choose a name based on its sound. You can choose a name that sounds kind of like your native language name. I use this method to choose my Chinese name. So my English name is Joan. I have a few options. I could choose Chong, but I don't like that because it sounds like Chong Renda Chong. So I ended up going with Joe because Joe kind of sounds like Joan, and it has no meaning to me, but it's a good way to still kind of keep my identity and have people recognize or have people say my name and I still recognize it. I had a student one time who chose a French name while she was living in Canada, and she eventually stopped using it. Her French name was Cecilia, I think. And she said when people talked to her, they'd say Cecilia, and she didn't realize they were talking about her. She kept forgetting that was her name. So this is where choosing something with a sound that's very similar can help you, because you'll be more likely to recognize it. Another option, though, is to choose a name based on meaning. Now, this is dangerous because a lot of names in other languages translate to words in English that are not names. Fruits are not names. Nobody is named after a fruit. I don't care that Gwyneth Paltrow named her baby Apple. Fruits are not names. This is the #1 problem I had in China with English names. So many girls would choose names like peach, banana, apple, and this is because some of the characters in their name had peach or apple or cherry. Cherry is not a real name. Mm-mm. No. Cherry is not a name. But so many Chinese women have chosen the English name Cherry that it's almost acceptable as a real name. You don't have to choose a name that is a name. You can choose a noun or an adjective that that conveys the meaning of your original name, but you need to be aware that it's not really a name and it's a little bit strange. So if you take the English name Sunshine, it's not gonna make us look at you like you are American or that you belong here. We're gonna have just as much trouble saying sunshine as we will saying what your name was in your native language, because sunshine is very strange for a name. So try to hold back on foods. So many people choose names like Candy, Brandy. I even met a girl named Carrot. So if you love carrots and you really want your name to be Carrot, maybe you could choose the name Karen, and that's a real name. But the bottom line is, you gotta have fun. You need to have fun while you're learning English. So if you really want your name to be iPhone, you can have your name be iPhone. It's totally cool. But I think you'll fit in better if your name is Taylor than if your name is Money. I have 2 more tips for you. One is to avoid names that are from TV shows or movies that you've seen without doing your research and deciding if that's really a name that you want. I like to call this one the Sheldon effect. Sheldon is not a cool name. Sheldon is an old man name. In fact, it probably was popular at the same time Joan was popular. Let's look this up. Sheldon peaked in 1935. So I bet there are some people out there who have a grandma and grandpa named Joan and Sheldon. However, since the popularity of Big Bang Theory, I suddenly have a lot of students named Sheldon. It wasn't a popular name. It was more of a name for a turtle. So if you really do want that name, you should take it. You should have it. You should own it. Be Sheldon if that's what you want to be. But don't get the idea that just because Big Bang Theory is a popular show right now in your country, that Sheldon is a common American name, because it's not common at all. So you can do some research about it before you want to be named after someone from a movie or a TV show. You can search if that is a popular name. So for example, if you watch Titanic and you want to be called Rose, that's wonderful. Rose is a beautiful name. It's classic. It's wonderful. Jack is the same too. Jack is a little bit older, but still totally fine for a name. Just be careful to check out celebrities and characters and see if their names are actually relevant. Angela Baby is not a real name. Okay, here's one more bonus rule. You cannot have baby in your name. Your name cannot be Baby, and it cannot have baby added to the name. No. While you're choosing a name, you can be really creative. You can choose something interesting. You can choose something popular or choose something unpopular that you like. You can take something from history or something from modern day pop culture. You can do seriously anything you want. But the last rule that I'm going to give you is actually a rule. You should pick a name that you can pronounce. This is very important, that you are able to pronounce your own name, because all of those benefits that you might get from choosing an English name, the language learning benefits of being able to speak more clearly and not have to switch between languages, those will go away if you can't pronounce the name. So if you have trouble, for example, with L's and R sounds, which is very common for a lot of people from China and Japan, you should probably not choose a name that has an L or an R in the pronunciation of it. Like if you're a girl and you can't say your L's, you shouldn't be called Melissa. This one is cool because Marissa is also a name, but it's kind of embarrassing if someone says, "Oh, is your name Marissa?" And you have to say, "No, it's Melissa," but you're having trouble pronouncing that L. If you're a guy and you're having this problem, maybe don't choose the name Derek because it might sound like Dalek. And you need to be really confident when you speak your name. I can guarantee that you will be able to pronounce those L's and R's later. Maybe a year from now, maybe 5 years from now, but you will be able to do it. And I can help you. I have other videos that will help you with this. But start off with a name that you can pronounce from the beginning because that will just make everything easier. It will make you more confident, make you happier, and it will achieve the goal of an English name by helping Americans understand you and be able to say your name more easily, which opens communication. So that's about it. If you have any questions, this is the fun part. This is the fun part. If you have a name that you're thinking of, or if you have questions about your English name, write it in the comments below and I will help you. I will tell you if it's a good name, if it's a strange name, if it's common, if it's rare. And also we can help figure out if it suits your personality and suits the meaning of your original name. So go ahead, write your English name or the English name that you're thinking of in the comments below. And please remember to like this video, subscribe to my channel. I teach English on here so I can help you with a lot of other things. Learning from a video is awesome and free, but the best way to learn English is to communicate with a native speaker, actually practice your English speaking. So I would recommend taking a lesson on italki. I've got a code below that will get you $10 off after you make a purchase. So you'll be able to get $10. That's usually a free 30-minute lesson with me or with another teacher. And that's down below. So thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to teaching you again soon.